Randolph, Shabazz, Tibbet, Council President. We have a quorum. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll now have invocation by Father John Thomas, pastor of the Parish of St. Monica, Atlantic City, New Jersey.
Let us remember that we are always in God's presence. God, who is both Lord and Father, we need a reminder. You are in charge. This is your city. Before we can conduct any research, form any committees, convene any hearings, accept any testimony, reach any consensus, identify any objectives, devise any strategies, write any reports, you already have a master plan. We know that each one of us, each one of our needs, is cared for in your master plan. This is our faith. But we doubt it. We act against it. Inspire us now to believe with conviction and to act with faith, because we need faith now. If you have a master plan, Lord, if everyone is cared for in your master plan, Father, then it's possible to fix Atlantic City. That our work here is not in vain. That our work in the last few years has not been in vain. In fact, we have confidence that our research, our committees, our hearings, our testimonies, our objectives, our strategies, our reports can do something great. Inspired by faith, we do not falter in this difficult work. We persevere because we work under you, alongside you, you working in us. So bless the work of this city council. Let them do what you will have them do. For yours is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as required by law by the city clerk, sending to the press and the Philadelphia Inquirer on January 2nd, 2018, and published on January 8th, 2018. And to the Star Ledger on January 2nd, 2018, and published on January 8th, 2018. A list of the meetings for the Council of the City of Atlantic City, including notice of the meeting scheduled for December 12th, 2018 at 5 p.m. in the Hank Tyner Council Chambers, Room 206, City Hall, 1301 Backrack Boulevard. And also a copy of said notice was posted by the City Clerk on the bulletin board, main lobby, first floor on the same date. All of the aforesaid complies with NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, known as the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Law, and NJSA 40:69A-179. This is a regular council meeting of the City Council of Atlantic City. Before we begin, please be aware of our rules in this chamber. All persons are to be seated unless all seats are filled, in which case you may stand against the wall in orderly fashion. We are asking that all gentlemen remove their hats. All persons are to remain quiet during these proceedings. This is so that everyone is able to hear what is going on. Please turn off all cell phones or set them to silent. No one shall speak unless they are invited to do so by the council president. Shouting, interrupting, speaking out of turn, or acting disorderly in any fashion will not be tolerated, and anyone doing so will be removed from the meeting. When and if you are invited to the microphone to speak, please state your name and address. You will be allotted 3 minutes for comment. Please respect the time for other persons and end your speech within the 3 minutes allowed. If it is your intention to ask a question of council, you will be permitted to ask a maximum of 2 questions. Your questions are to be clearly stated, and after the questions are asked, you are to take your seat. The council president will determine if the question can be answered and by whom. Finally, please understand that there will be no personal attacks or name calling. If you do so, your time will immediately be cut short and you may be asked to leave. We have reports and recommendations from the mayor. We have the reappointment of Mia Solomon to the Planning Board for a 4-year term, reappointment of Stephen L. Young to the Planning Board for a 4-year term, and the reappointment of Barbara Bowe to the Library Board for a 5-year term. Council President, have we committee reports?
Randolph? Well, go ahead.
Mr. President, the Planning and Development Committee had their regular meeting, and I present for my colleagues support the resolutions attached. 574, which deals with engineering elevation contracts. 575, which is a contract to James Rotolo, who I might add has been doing an excellent job getting grants for the city. 642 to 680. No, 676, Mr. President, are allocations for CDBG grants to very worthwhile agencies and organizations in the city that would ask for support of. 683 is a fireworks resolution for the holidays, something that we've done traditionally. And I would call with special attention my colleagues to Resolution 694, which deals with the purchase of Schoolhouse Liberty and Distance. And as everyone knows, this is a group of properties that has had a lot of concern with regard to violations with codes and other things. We have a developer, Wind Development, out of DC, which is the largest developer of affordable housing in the country, that is going to purchase that development, all 3 properties, bring it up to code, keep the people in place, and keep it as an affordable project. And I would ask my colleagues to support that in addition to the rest of the resolutions. That's my report.
Curbs?
Information Technology, Health and Human Services, and Licensing and Inspections Committee met. Our meeting, there's no new ordinances tonight, was take a look at the year in review and identify some goals for next year. To the effect of this meeting, the one item I always like to say thank you to the staff, and especially in Licensing and Inspections Department, for the number 640, the resolution for property liens for vacant properties and properties in a state of disrepair. And as I've done in the past, just encourage you to please get more on this list. There's a number of properties in this town that need the better upkeep. We need to just be as aggressive as we can with making sure that the appearance of our town from all quarters is as best as it can be. So I'd like to see that list longer next time, and that's the report.
Thank you, Council President. Public Safety, Public Works Committee met November the 28th. Prior to that meeting, we had incidents up in the first ward. We had a cabana to blow off the Bella in the middle of the street. Thank God there was no injuries, but it was a sincere problem. And I'd like to thank Crystal Lewis of Public Works and the Fire Department. We somehow got enough energy and enough people to get that removed. No one was injured, and I'm very appreciative for that, and I thank you. Resident Earl Harvey, who's in the audience tonight, came to our public safety meeting, and we've had accidents on Connecticut and Pacific at an alarming rate. But due to the chief, and I'd like to thank the police department and Chief White, they have cut down considerably, and I'm going to bring Earl in our next meeting, and we're going to try to keep up on that. We've had a lot of accidents in that area, but by him coming in, that's what residents do when they report to us. We try to get to the bottom of the problem right away. And I'd like to thank the chief and his staff for that. Finally, bus shelters. I had an opportunity to talk to Matt Doherty over in Creta, who's the executive director. After going around the bend and around the corner, we finally got to the problem. He said that Creta is the one that's going to be responsible for putting up the bus shelters. We're going to try to get that done as soon as possible because my seniors really need it uptown. Really, I know everybody needs them, but seniors really need them uptown. So Chief White has dispatched a crew out to locate the shelters. Hopefully we can get them up in time before the winter gets real bad. So I'm really pleased to say that you know, we get into the bottom of that. And the only thing, we have a resolution from the fire department, and I also want to thank the fire department. I hope I did say that because they were there on the scene for us. We had first vehicles on tonight, and I can ask my colleagues, I hope that they can support that. If you have any questions, I did see the chief in here, so that's important, I thank you. The other thing is, my Bungalow Park Civic Association, Christmas parties tomorrow, and I always thank the fire department in advance, because they always give us a fire engine, so we can give our candy canes. And the first ward, we've been doing that for a long time, and the kids really like it. So even if you don't live in the first ward, you can look out your window, you hear the noise. It's not a fire, it's just us doing what we do for the kids. That's my report, thank you.
Council President, we all been to neighborhood association meetings in the last 45 days since our last meeting. We all heard how the people in the communities are concerned with the condition of Atlantic Avenue. The hanging out, the stores. Councilman Shabazz, you had a special meeting open to the public.
Yes, sir.
As you know, last meeting, I expressed great displeasure with the store on Tennessee Avenue after hundreds and hundreds of hours of our police department to infiltrate and to bust that store when drugs were being sold out of that store. The fact that a mercantile license was given back to them. I asked Council President that we meet with the administration's legal department as well as ours to put something on the books that anybody that loses a mercantile license involving something dealing with the police, that it cannot be given back by any one person, that it must go through the administration and then present it to us where we vote on whether to give that person the pleasure of doing business in this city. Just remember all the hours, man hours that we put into that, our police department undercover work, to be able to infiltrate that, to get the drugs off of the street. The amount of calls that the fire department had to answer with Narcon to bring people back to life, people's children. And the fact that we actually did it and we closed them down and gave a mercantile license back is alarming. And I want to be sure that it doesn't happen again and that it must go through our approval as well as the administration if ever it's closed down or the mercantile is lost due to police conditions.
Council President, if
Point well taken.
I'll take it.
Moving into the new year, we'll get it together.
Yeah.
I just want to say for the record, Council President, I associate myself with Councilman Tibbetts' remarks. I have a resolution on tonight urging the store owners to work with the police in the program that they have for the cameras, the PATH program. I don't know how that happened, but that should not have happened, and it can't happen again. I agree with you 200%.
I agree with you, and Councilman, could you put all council on that, because I think we all agree with that.
Oh, absolutely.
That resolution tonight.
I'll talk to our city solicitor, maybe we can have it for the next meeting, Mr. President. Yes, sir, thank you.
All right, revenue and finance, it's a pretty light agenda. The main thing is in the resolution of recognitions, I believe it's number 688, where we came out with a plan that we ran by the state of New Jersey. And I know that some people kind of were confused on our plan, and then the next day, the headline was a little deceiving, saying, you know, like the state was rejecting our plan. That was far from the truth. We ran these numbers, Rob Long, everyone else who I talked to, I've worked on that plan for 3.5 months, and it's to give our employees who have suffered so long, some not receiving raises in 8 years, living on a $22,000 salary with multiple children. We know people like to talk about the cost of living going up every year, but in some people, the cost of living goes up every day. So for the employees who have sacrificed a lot, who have endured a lot, you know, we came up with a plan where they will receive a $5,000 raise over a 3-year period. And it will be received in form of a stipend. And the reason why they will see more of the money in the form of a one-time payment, but it does carry over to the base. So if someone is making $30,000 at the end of the 3 years, if this plan is successful, they'll be making $35,000. The cost to the taxpayers, and again, I stand great on my record as the chairman of Revenue and Finance of the last 3 years, flat tax, 5.5% decrease, and another flat tax, working very hard with the state, getting extra transitional aid for the residents, working with the state and the bond council on approving the bond that was so controversial to many in this community, but the council members led the charge, and we was able to keep the taxes down. Also, with legal fees decreasing the last 3 years since I've been the chairman of Revenue and Finance, over 35%. So I believe that it's time to reward our employees. Everyone talks about that we should do more for employees, but we came up with a plan, and I believe it's a good plan. It will cost $1,294,000 in the year 2019. That total lowers to $838,000 in the year 2020. Then it goes back up to $1,294,000 in 2021. I know you're saying, well, why the drop? Because we use the 2-1-2 formula. With me being a former basketball player, I used to like to play the 2-1-2 zone. But we use that formula for the workers, our hardworking men and women in blue in the fire department. They will receive a $3,000 raise over the said period. So I believe it's a good plan. It was well thought out. We've identified some funding sources, and we have more funding sources coming online. And again, just remember, this will not include a tax increase. And we've been pretty good with that and communicating with the state. So our first budget meeting is shortly after the year. Well, not our first, but the next budget meeting, which is January 4th. And I've already put the whole committee on notice that every meeting that we have, I'm going to have the employees in mind as well as the taxpayers, so that way, the employees can get a long-awaited reward. So that's it on the Revenue and Finance side. I also serve as the chairman of the Administration and Governmental Affairs Committee. We held our monthly meeting Monday with CRDA, and some of the topics that we discussed is 2019, a possible groundbreaking of a major supermarket. The state and CRDA has engaged a consultant, and we look forward to having community meetings and keeping the residents abreast of what's going on. Also, their fight to change rooming houses throughout the city, where they want to engage developers to come in and create better housing options for residents, and working with the police and the state code enforcement as well as the local code enforcement as well. My fight, and I'm gonna say it every meeting, Pacific and Atlantic Avenue. And in the meeting, I told people, I said, things are really getting out of control. I said I went out Saturday night to a store on Atlantic Avenue, and a young lady happened to open the door. And normally the ask is, do you have change? Do you have $1? So this one lady was just bold. She said, can you give me $5? I said, something needs to be done. And I know that our chief is working extremely hard with the resources that he has. We've been fighting to try to get CRDA. They've done a great job of providing us with Class 2 officers. The push was to hire more full-time officers. We didn't get that, but we are going to get an additional 45 Class 2 officers, and we're very grateful for that. But that will open us up to do more things inside our neighborhoods, such as community policing and other specialized programs that's catered to bringing the crime down. And also some initiatives to stop crime before it happens. So we're very excited about that. Also, on the agenda, you see the police, second reading, the Police Community Advisory Board. We're submitting the 3 names for City Council. That board will get to action starting in the new year. And I believe that's it for both of my reports. You also see a lot of organizations on here that we approved through Revenue and Finance for this CDBG allotment. So that is my report. And I see my council colleague is decked out with bright lights.
Yeah.
I guess you could come to council like that when you're about to retire, huh? It's outstanding.
Well, you holiday season. Yeah, man, but you missed out. He had all cowboy stuff. Oh, yeah. Pictures and everything.
You saw me on Facebook.
Yeah, okay.
I just got a text, I got a text up here, thank you for all of you in here who decided to take pictures. I'm now trending on Twitter.
In the meeting with the executive director of CRDA, we talked about street paving, that I think is near and dear to every heart, and every car and every driver in this room. And they say they will work with the city in terms of helping us get some of these streets paved. It's kind of bad, you know, you take your car in your own hand and your life, going down New York, Indiana, and any other streets you can call.
That's right.
So we did bring that up, and they did say they will help us, you know, getting that done. And I think that's the outstanding effort for the residents of Atlantic City.
Mr. President, may I have one more?
Yeah. Nothing changes, nothing changes.
Well, the Eagles, that's another one. I apologize. But seriously, at the governmental meeting, there's going to be an announcement, hopefully very shortly, about Atlantic Care expanding on the lot next to Dunkin' Donuts. And what they are talking about doing is something that is going to, in my mind, and my colleagues, I know support this, help all of the citizens of Atlantic City. Unfortunately, Atlantic City has the distinction of having the highest infant mortality rate in the state. And the project, the development, the building that Atlantic is talking about is going to have one floor dedicated to reducing infant mortality in Atlantic City. It's also going to have a dialysis unit, and it's also on the third floor is going to have a place for residents who are studying to become doctors. And they go before the CRDA at their next meeting, and hopefully we'll be able to support that application. That's something that's not only needed for development, but needed for health. And that's one of the issues that we're focusing on in Atlantic City: infant mortality, obesity, and other health disparities that we have. And that was also discussed at our meeting at CRDA. Thank you, Mr. President.
You know, this is something that needs to be said. I'd like to thank the DA and our solicitor. Garden Basins is now back in the hands of the city of Atlantic City. The employees are happy, we're happy, and things are moving along real smoothly. And I'd like to thank you personally, because that was getting really out of hand. So Atlantic City now has Garden Basins back. Thank you.
I'd like to join you with that, Councilman Randolph. And also, people should know as we go forward, you as the council representative, that Barry is going to be on there too as for oversight, so that we don't have those same issues again.
Yeah.
I thought you said you was done.
I was until that came up.
All right, let's move the agenda.
We have resolutions. Let me just point out on the front of the agenda, calendar year 2018, state fiscal year 2019 best practices is listed. And we have resolutions of recognition.
All right, let's find out for the resolutions of recognition. Harry Mays here? No. Medina Wilson? Jody Burrows? Duncan Lane? Is anyone here from Gateway?
We have two, Latoya and Ms. Thomas.
Are they going to accept them?
You going to accept for Gateway? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is anyone here from the family of Eric Reynolds? Is anyone here from the, is Ms. Canton here? I know Dr. High is here. Royalty is in the building.
Royalty is in the building.
For 680, I'm going to take 680 to serve the son.
Okay.
680.
Yeah, 680, Ms. Clinton.
All right, and that's it, so I'm going to ask
Somebody said
for,
for 689 too.
for a motion to vote on 630, 631, 632, 633, 665, 667, 677, 680, 681, 688, 689, and 694.
Move it.
Moved by Randolph, second by Chang.
Okay. Want to read that grouping again, Councilman Shabazz?
And, I made a mistake. 681, don't vote on that right now, in the group. Everything else is okay.
Okay, so resolutions of recognition as a group vote, 630, 630, 630, 631, 632, 633, 665, 667, 677, 680, 688, 689, and 694.
Yes. And it was moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz.
Well, somebody's here for 689, I'm sorry, Dr. Jones is here, I apologize.
689 is off the group.
Yeah, 689, she's here.
Chang,
Yes.
Delgado,
Yes.
Fauntleroy,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Marsh,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Shabazz,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
and Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative for the group vote. Resolution 634.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph,
Second.
second by Marsh.
This is a resolution to congratulate Gateway Community Action Partnership for being honored by the Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity, Inc., Upsilon Alpha Chapter. Whereas on Saturday, November 10th, 2018, the Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity, Inc., Upsilon Alpha Chapter will hold its annual Achievement Awards brunch at the Atlantic City Country Club in Northfield, New Jersey. And whereas in their quest for friendship, knowledge, brotherhood, common goals of manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift, the Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity, Inc., Upsilon Alpha Chapter will recognize Gateway Community Action Partnership for providing services that improve the quality of life and promote self-sufficiency for individuals throughout the community. Whereas it is the desire of the Council of the City of Atlantic City to recognize Gateway Community Action Partnership and commend their dedication, devotion, and commitment. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Atlantic City hereby congratulates the Gateway Community Action Partnership for being honored by the Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity Upsilon Alpha Chapter on November 10th, 2018 at their annual Achievement Awards brunch. Chang,
Yes.
Delgado, Fauntleroy,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Marsh,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Shabazz,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
and Small.
Yes.
That's 8 in the affirmative.
Yes.
Oh, Councilman Delgado is a yes, that's 9 in the affirmative. And the 11th, presentation,
Yes.
is someone here to receive?
Yes.
Hello. Hi. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Victoria?
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thanks you guys for recognizing Gateway Head Start as our community and being an asset to our kids in Atlantic City. Thank you.
Oh, by the way, he got a real plaque, so we're not cheating.
Oh, okay.
He got a real plaque.
We was
The
wondering,
day of, yeah.
we was wondering. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have Resolution 681, and this is a resolution to recognize Dr. Juanita High for her significant contributions on behalf of the New Jersey Equal Opportunity Fund.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz.
Whereas Dr. Juanita Hyde, a longtime resident of Atlantic City, served as Executive Director of the New Jersey Equal Opportunity Fund from 1970 to 1975. And whereas Dr. Hyde created program guidelines and established provisions for the NJEOF, And whereas the NJEOF program is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. And whereas the NJEOF opened the door to add diversity to the student body, faculty, and administration of New Jersey colleges. And whereas the NJEOF program continues to provide an opportunity for higher education to persons who are economically or educationally disadvantaged. And whereas the significant contributions made by Dr. Juanita High on behalf of the NJEOF serve to help thousands of New Jerseyans contribute to the betterment of our state and our nation. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Atlantic City hereby salutes, recognizes, and commends Dr. Juanita High for her work in starting, nurturing, and implementing the New Jersey Equal Opportunity Fund. Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Pass.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative.
Hello. Congratulations.
Mr. President. Mr. President, before Dr. Hyde takes her seat, can you go down and let the council have a picture with her after she finishes her remarks? That's okay. You have to ask, you have to tell me before you sit down.
Thank you so much, members of the council. EOF, I think, the New Jersey Educational Opportunity Fund, is probably one of the most significant programs that we've had in the state of New Jersey. And God blessed me to be at the right place at the right time so that I could write the program and put all the things together. It's very interesting because this weekend we had a situation at a luncheon rather, and 3 people at the luncheon who were adults that I have never met before came up to me and thanked me about for the New Jersey Opportunity Fund. One example was one young lady said that her high school counselor told her that she was too smart not to go to college and too poor to go to college. She couldn't get the particular grant that they had because it only went to kids who did not have great averages. And so she said somebody told her about EOF, and she called me. I don't remember this, she did. I picked up the phone and called the college, and she got in, and now she has a master's degree and so forth and so on. So there's so many examples of that throughout this state. And I would just like to thank you for this recognition and say congratulations to all those thousands of children, young people rather, who went through EOF and became successful citizens. Thank you.
And I want to personally thank you as well. As you know, I was an alum of Stockton EOF 1993, which made it, possible for me to attend as well. As you, Diane, Brian Jackson know, Dr. Ferris, when my mother passed away, she took me in as her own, and we had that relationship. And that's just the power of a program like EOF, where you have intimate relationships with the staff, and it's a specialized program where you go to college 6 weeks before the rest of the students, and you get an advantage. And if it wasn't for that, not only myself, but many students, as you said, statewide, wouldn't have had an opportunity. And I just wanted to thank you, for all your work in the community and, what you've done in Stockton. And you're just a shining example of greatness.
I also like to say, if it wasn't for Dr. High, I would say it publicly today, I would never have gone to college. I struck out in the first semester because I didn't fill my forms out correctly. So then I went to see her. I think I got BEOG and little EOF. I was able to attend college, but not for her. That process would have never started. And every time I get opportunity, I sincerely thank you for guiding me that way.
Mr. President, let me also say that I was a student at Cheney State College, and during the time we had student rebellions and civil rights and all that, and I was expelled from Cheney State College, and my father said you have 3 alternatives. You either go into the service, you get a job, or you find a school to go back to. And Dr. Hyde steered me to Rutgers, got me scholarships and all, because I didn't, my family didn't have money. and I was able to go to Rutgers, to finish Rutgers, and if I've had any success in life, Dr. Hyde's been an integral part of it. I just wanted to say thank you. I appreciate that. I couldn't go into service because I didn't believe in Vietnam. I wasn't qualified to get the job, so my only alternative was to go to school, and you helped. Thank you. So thank you all.
Council President, I just want to say in closing, I didn't have the opportunity of going to VOS. However, I appreciate all the efforts that you've ever did to help so many people achieve their dreams.
Absolutely.
Because too often we run into children that have dreams deferred. And the work that you've done and the legacy that you've left eliminates that from happening in many lives. And for you, I say thank you.
That's right.
Thank you, Dr. Hyde.
Can we take two more?
He don't really want you in the picture. And that's the truth of the matter.
Those of us less vertically challenged can stay in the back.
Take you away.
Dr. Hyde.
Council President, thank you.
You're welcome.
Resolution 689 is a resolution recognizing armed forces veterans.
May I have a motion? Move it. Moved by Randolph.
Second.
Second by Shabazz.
Whereas the city of Atlantic City recognizes the sacrifices that veterans have made in defense of our nation, and whereas veterans have sacrificed their lives and limbs protecting American ideals across the globe, and whereas there are currently 1.2 million people serving in the armed forces and more than 21 million veterans who have previously served in the armed forces, and whereas, as we celebrate their sacrifices, we must ensure that appropriate programs and initiatives are developed to ensure that veterans receive the information and resources needed to make a transition into civilian life. And whereas we as Americans owe a great debt to those who served and have a responsibility to see that their sacrifices are not forgotten and that their memory remains for future generations. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of Atlantic City hereby recognizes the veterans in Atlantic City and across the country and salutes them for their service to the nation. Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative, and we do have a presentation. Someone's receiving?
Yes, she is.
Thank you. On behalf of the veterans of Post 61 in the city of Atlantic City, our commander is Patricia Tatum. Also, our unit with the auxiliary is number 61, of which I am proudly the president. We accept this because we have always had a very strong community that served in this city. We were very proud this past Veterans Day to have our keynote speaker from Atlantic City, a JAG officer, a retired major. who lives here. We've had majors and generals who've lived in this community, and we want to thank you. And a little bit of housekeeping. On Saturday night, the Post is having a BYOB at the Soldiers Home from 9 to 1. Feel free to come out and celebrate it with us. It's $20 a person. Thank you again for this.
Mr. President, before we go in, if I could just take 2 minutes.
How many Red Bulls did you have?
This is for Eric Reynolds. Time. Yeah.
Hold on, let's move the agenda. We got 2 more things.
Well, I thought we finished, okay.
We have Resolution 690. This is a resolution to recognize Michael P. Stinson, Director of Revenue and Finance, for his years of dedicated service to the city of Atlantic City.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph, second by Chen.
Whereas Michael P. Stinson was appointed Director of Revenue and Finance on May 10th, 2010. And whereas Michael P. Stinson was an exemplary employee, dependable, efficient, and loyal to the city, always arriving to work hours before the start of business for the past 8.5 years. And whereas Michael Stinson graduated from Drexel University, he continued his education and advanced to Chief Financial Officer by attending classes at Rutgers University. Director Stinson originated the idea of a casino tax pilot to help stabilize the budget. And whereas Michael Stinson is a community-minded person, and for many years has coached Little League and basketball in Brigantine. He is a loyal fan of the Eagles and the Phillies. He is a lifetime parishioner of St. Thomas the Apostle Roman Catholic Church in Brigantine. And now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Atlantic City hereby recognizes, commends, and thanks Michael P. Stinson for his outstanding efforts on behalf of the Revenue and Finance Department, and wishes him health, happiness, and continued success in his future endeavors. Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
And we do have a presentation.
Congratulations, Director.
I would like to thank the City Council of Atlantic City for this resolution of recognition for my years of service in Atlantic City. And would also like to really thank the staff of the Revenue and Finance Department who taught me an awful lot about municipal government, municipal finances, and without their help and assistance over the years, we wouldn't have the city back on track where it is right now, on the way up, and it's evidenced by the rating increases that we've gotten this fall. So once again, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
I would like to thank you for the last, 8 years or so for being my cousin. But in all seriousness, the last 6 years working with you on Revenue and Finance, the last 3 as chairman has been a blast. You're not a man of many words. I'm going to miss your phone calls after the agenda deadline. Council President, it's Tom and Mike. We need this to get on. But in all seriousness, thank you. You served. You can go away with honor because you served this city during the most tumultuous time in the history of the city. You stood by us, fighting the fight against the state, and the residents of Atlantic City should be thankful for that. And we wish you Godspeed and best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Councilman Shabazz, if you would like to speak now.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. Eric Reynolds, who was a city employee and a resident of Atlantic City, and I have to say a friend of mine, passed away. And I just wanted to let the public know, and I'm not going to read all of it, but Eric was in charge of the Mayor's Employment and Jobs Training Program. He placed over 445 Atlantic City residents in jobs. And since 2017, the program has placed another 230 Atlantic County residents, many of them landing city jobs. The mayor's jobs program ended in 2016, but because Eric applied for grants through Workforce Connection, the program still continues. The grants came from Atlantic County and the state, and the program is still housed in City Hall. And the work that Eric Reynolds started, even though he's passed away, is still being continued. And Atlantic City residents are still getting jobs because of this effort. I just wanted the public to know that and read that in the record. He died too soon, and he did a great, great work for helping people through employment. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, one more housekeeping item. Today, well, I think is it Tuesday now? Tuesday, we will celebrate the, hands down, it's not even a question, survey every City Hall employee, the hardest working employee in City Hall. She works on Sundays. She works 25 hours, 8 days a week. She's very dedicated, she's very passionate, and if we had everyone in the world with her work ethic, it would literally be flawless. So at this time, for the second time this year, and ironically, the last council meeting of the year, you're gonna hear from the city council mass choir as we sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Paula. Happy birthday to you. 2019, we will be touring. Contact our attorney and agent for appearances. Let's move the agenda.
We are at comments on good and welfare. We have Ahmed Abdullah Senior.
Good afternoon. I have actually two questions. But my first question is going to be dealing with this payroll situation. I don't understand that the payroll that we already had in place, the employees that was already working at the payroll, that we brought in a new system. And this new system has been doing nothing but screwing checks up since it's been here. I had an issue the last week, and not just my issue, but I'm speaking on my issue now, that not this pay, but last pay, I had to wait all the way until Thursday to get paid because of a glitch that they did. And if it wasn't for my assistant director, Crystal Lewis, that I had to actually call her on a Saturday and a Sunday to try to get my paycheck together, and it still didn't get together until Tuesday. Then when Tuesday came around, they sent a wire transfer. And when the wire transfer came in, they charged me $15 for their mess up. And I just don't understand. Why do we put all this money into a payroll system when we already had payroll? Instead of just putting the money into the employees, getting new software, and showing them how to do it. But no, we go out of town, we get a new people to do it. Then when they screw the checks up, you gotta find somebody to go up to Asbury or wherever the place is at to get the checks. And then when you don't get the checks, they gotta wire you the money and then charge you for it. I really don't understand that I don't understand it. When we had plenty of capable people that was here, that was already working in the payroll system, that you could have just taught them how to do it. So this is more extra money that could have been used on the employees to educate and help them, but we go outside once again and they've did nothing but jack this whole thing up since they had it. So I wanted to bring to the attention of somebody, because it doesn't hurt you until your paycheck get messed up. So, and when your paycheck get messed up, then you'll understand where I'm coming from. But right now, my paycheck got messed up. A lot of other people's paycheck got messed up, but I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for the little bit of change that I got bills, that I got direct deposit that comes out, and when my direct deposit come out, and if the money's not there, then I get an overdraft. Then that overdraft turns into something else. I can't come and ask nobody for a loan, a bridge loan, or whatever other loans y'all got, because you're not gonna give it to me. So it's my responsibility as a man to take care of my household and my kids and my bills. And I don't think it's fair that I gotta pay overdrafts and all these other different fees because I work hard. I come to work, I do my job, I don't give nobody no problems. Just like this young lady right here, I also come in here on Saturdays and Sundays, and the other day you want me to come in. If my assistant director asks me to do something, I do it. And I want to say again, thank you, Crystal, because she's the only one that at that time I can call that on the weekend tried to at least help me do something.
Good job. Does the administration want to put something on the record? And
Yes, we've been having some glitches with the new payroll system that's acknowledged. As Ms. Lewis has brought certain things to our attention, we've tried to move on those things to make those changes. And I'll speak with the gentleman after the meeting to try and resolve any issues he may have as a result of the problems with his payroll.
Hey, you hear that?
Yes, I heard.
All right.
Charles Goodman?
Yes. Real quick before we get started. Is Mr. Shabazz the head of the resolution committee?
He's the head of everything.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to know, because I have the committee reports and stuff, and he didn't report on that. Okay, real quick, suggestion, which everything is. I would appreciate if the council, with you, the leadership, Mr. Small, and the state, get together and make a public statement that this city hasn't missed a beat, that City Hall is open, that everything is going forward. Let's acknowledge there's been some issues, and we've been in a negative way every day in the papers. And I think a positive needs to come out of here, out of this City Hall, with the council and the state saying, guys, the state is moving forward, developers want to come in, and our city residents need to know that this city, because the elderly get very upset, that think because of what's happening, that things are not working. And so I would appreciate or suggest that somehow that happens. Also, the thing, the resolution with the stores, man, you gotta have something with some teeth in it. They don't read the papers, they don't know about resolution. And a real deal, they don't care about no resolution. Put something with some teeth in it about the stores that you have for the resolution for the stores. But let's get to my pet peeve. And it's a shame this gentleman hit on it. Privatization versus public. Sanitation, that's one of my things. I did an over request that the last budget for that sanitation was in the city budget was 17. I asked for that budget, and I asked for the price, the money spent out of Atlantic City on the private company. I want to see just how much we saved. Also, public versus private, which the young man was talking about. The fire department, ambulance. How much is that money for the ambulance when we got firemen that are very capable, as capable, to go out and all? Does that balance out? Is it worth it to use our firemen as opposed to this ambulance group that gets money? And the privatization, what he's just talking about. We send all our money out of this city for somebody else to get paid. Don't spend it in this city when we can have our own workers from this city working and saving money, that's what we're supposed to do. So I would appreciate more look on that, but I'm going to open request and bring you the information. Since I've been talking about this all year and no one has spoken up. So I'm going to bring you the information and let the public know what is the best way. Also, I would like to know more in terms of the Gardens Basin issue, because we fought that guy from Summers Point because he wasn't, everything wasn't valid, and then he didn't do nothing. So I just appreciate knowing that we're back in business. And I thank you, and I had some more stuff, but I guess I had to catch up. I know.
Just a question on the guard.
Yes. I was waiting to listen.
On the garbage basin issue, I'm gonna let, as I have, let Councilman Randolph at the appropriate time in the meeting when we're bringing that matter up, kind of, take you through where we've been and where we're going. As far as your comment, let me just address it and get it out of the way. As far as your comment on the situation that's going on here in the city that, was involved in, the mayor, the councilman, I have a standard that I don't comment on people's legal situation. As I said, that's between the mayor, the councilman, the accusers, the FBI, and however it plays out. You're not going to get that from me or anyone on the city council. But what I do want to reassure, I went to the First Ward Civic Association last week, and I spoke at the NAACP last night. What I want to reassure you is that we have strong leadership here. We're not going to be distracted. We're going to continue to move Atlantic City forward. We're going to continue that momentum that we had this summer. We're going to continue it. We're going to keep instilling investor confidence. I can tell you, I'm not going to get into details. I was in a meeting this morning in Marlton with some major developers who are talking about $900 million non-casino project that we will be meeting with state stakeholders moving forward in 2019. So your trash is still being taken out. If you call 911, the police are going to come. If you call the firefighters, they're going to come. Atlantic City is going to continue to move forward. Regardless of any potential distractions, just like in sports, it's the next man up mantra. When you're a team and you have various components going on, if your star player gets injured, guess what? The backups have to step up. The Eagles won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. So Atlantic City has won, and we're going to continue to win, and we're going to continue providing a strong leadership with a strong partnership with the state of New Jersey, and any potential legal issues will take care of themselves with the individuals that are involved. We're not getting into that. We're not going to kick people when they're down. We're going to keep forward. We're going to do the job that the residents here in the city of Atlantic City has elected us to do, and whatever happens in other areas, happens, but we're going to continue to move forward. And I just want to let you know that there's strong leadership here, and we're going to press on. Thank you.
Mr. President, if I may, about the stores.
Red Bull.
When this was brought up, I know people are concerned about the stores, and we had a meeting here that was very, very well attended. And just for a report, the resolution with regard to store owners connecting with the camera, I would take exception to the fact that that's not going to be effective, because some store owners have already contacted me, and I think they'll be contacting the police to work with them with the camera system, firstly. The second thing, the solicitor's office was at the hearing, as the chief was, as the two deputy chiefs was, as Director Finch was, and they are working in the solicitor's office to come up with legal things that we can do to make the store owners, not make, to have a better atmosphere around stores. The police are working, I would say, in my estimation, that they're doing an outstanding job with the resources they have to make the area safer. I know for a fact that in the 1700 block, which just happens to be in my district, Atlantic Avenue, where we've had a lot of complaints, I see the police there on a consistent basis in the stores. They check in with the store owners. The store owners tell me that they're checking in, and I physically see it myself. I see the Class 2 officers going through Renaissance Plaza on a regular basis, and I think the police are doing a commendable job, and I think you're going to see some improvement in the store owners. The people who were here at the meeting gave us their concerns. We gave them to the solicitor's office. The solicitor's office is working. Police department is working, and I think you're going to see an improvement. And you can see an improvement on the 1700 block right now. The police have made a visible improvement in that area, and we just have to go block by block.
Move the agenda, please.
Victor Jenkins.
I'm really surprised, based on what you're just saying, is what needs to happen at the 1300 block of Atlantic Avenue, where the library is, Renaissance Center, South Carolina, and Atlantic, and the alleyway of Central Avenue, near Tennessee, and Tennessee Avenue itself from Pacific to Atlantic. I live in that area. I'm a resident, okay, and I'm speaking up for all the residents. I can get petitions if I need to. What's going on around those areas is deplorable. We need constant police presence, day and night. What's going on around the stores? It's not going on in the stores so much. It's going on out the stores. You got drug dealers, you got drug watch out people, and you got people who want drugs. That's what's around those stores. This is downtown Atlantic City. We can do better than this. We got the resources. We need undercover rotating cops maybe, class 2 cops, making a presence. If you can't arrest them, at least you hang around, make it discouraging for them. I mean, I love the city, I love my councilman, I love my neighborhood, but we can do better than this. I mean, it's sickening. You know, we're talking about all this stuff we do in this city, but I'm looking at my block, it's like everybody turned to the back or something on it. So, you know, I'm saying something needs to be done yesterday. And I hope I don't have to come back here and say anything about this again. You know, really. I mean, this is the missing link in the city. The city is as great as its weakest link. That's a weak link. So I'm imploring the city to do something about it now. Thank you.
Dave Davis.
I missed, my name's Dave Davis, I'm from Galveston, Texas, and I've been here since May, and I've had a wonderful time here. And Marty, you have an envelope, you're supposed to have an envelope up there with this in it. Did that?
It's there.
It's there, all right. All right, pull it out. Pull it out, pull it out. This is, Marty, this is fun. This is fun. Folks, this is a pain assessment ruler. And I ordered 10 of them for the entire city council, and they only shipped me 3. So I got to give the president one, I have to give the police chief one, and I have one here as a sample. So if you just lay it on the counter and take a look at it, what it is zero pain. Then you have mild pain, then you have moderate pain, and then you have severe pain, and the last one here is excruciating pain. Now, pain starts with a P. Politics starts with a P. You have this on your desk, and the phone goes off, and you can use it to pick your teeth, and you can use it as a ruler, and then as you're taking the call, you just look down there and you say, well, okay, this is no pain, this is all right. And then the call goes over here and over there and comes back. At the end of the day, you look at this and you go, I survived another day. Now, I'm an actor, and if you couldn't tell, okay. And I rehearsed this last night for about an hour. And I had some time left. If you flip this over, it says numeric pain intensity scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and on the back it says worst possible pain. Marty, if you put this on your desk, now this works in the office, and it also works at home. So this is a two-way deal here. Now, gentlemen, like I said, I ordered 10 and I got 3. Christmas is coming, and I'm going to get each one of you guys one of these. You put it on your desk, and you take the phone call, and you start looking at it. And then you just hope and pray that it doesn't end up in the ring. That's my speech. And I'll see you guys next. Now we have a council meeting next month, right?
See that? I can use that. Marty, can I see that? I can use that right now.
I tell you, man. Thank you, folks. Appreciate it.
Mr. Davis.
Red zone, Marty.
I just have one question. You don't have to come back up.
Well, I gotta get my digital.
Okay, but I have a question for you. Is that an actual French Foreign Legion hat you have?
Yes, sir, it is.
I thought so.
Yes, sir. That's gonna leave a mark. Yes, sir, it is.
French Foreign Legion. First time I seen one of them in person.
I spent 6 years in the French Division, in the Marine Division in Casablanca, Morocco. Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, indeed. At least I knew what I was talking about.
Ta-da.
Next.
Friends in Action.
Woo! Don't mind me, baby. Now, James Brown. There it is.
Good evening, council. Good evening, everybody here.
You will not be missed in the forest in the dark, bro.
I'd just like to begin by saying thank you for all that you've helped us do throughout the whole year. And as we sum up this year, thank Councilman Delgado for opening up the Mission Standard secret page, whatever, for needy families to contact for something for the holidays. Just to give you the latest that's happening, Friends in Action, unlike Kay, has been diligently trying to see to it that we too are able to help needy families. So we have our page called Santa's Secret Workshop. Yesterday I was privileged to be in Camden, New Jersey to speak in front of the City Council, along with Prince Batty, the new WBF champion in Camden, to work in conjunction with helping needy families in Camden. I've been in contact with the mayors of Pleasantville, Galloway, Bridgeton, to help out needy families. At this present date and time, our page has over 400 children that we'll be assisting throughout from Atlantic City to Camden, New Jersey. Our outreach, thanks to all 9 of y'all, the state and everybody, has empowered us to do this. If it wasn't for your gentlemen and your continued support to Friends in Action, these services would not be available to a lot of people. We have, and of course you get the phone calls, and I get phone calls from needy families, needy children, needy parents, like from their associates. Some of them are heartbreaking stories. When I was in Camden talking to them yesterday, they were very moved to see an organization come this far and going all the way down South Jersey. So we have in contact with people from Lawnside, Ocean City, Summers Point. As we did last year, we went from Atlantic City to Dell, New Jersey. We will be doing that as well, again, helping needy families. So thank all of y'all. Councilman Tibbet, you all will be doing things at the Irish Pub. Thank you, because these things, unlike along with you and Mo, help needy families. For those who know people, you can go to the page, Santa's Secret Workshop. You know a family, let us know. I said, we will do everything in our power. There's another update. I got contacted by Assemblyman Mazzio and Amato. In the gift bag that we will do for parents, we will also be having coats, socks, gloves for parents and children. So when they get the package, in that package we'll be looking for the adults and the children. So if anybody wants to give donations, we will be glad to take them. But we have been working diligently, and as other partners, Lamont White, former Minnesota Viking cornerback, will be with us as well, helping out. So there are many people that have joined in to help us service these families. But I want to thank all 9 of y'all. Y'all made this possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joyce Molyneux.
Good afternoon, Council President, Council members.
Technology Committee. Is there a Comcast committee under your watch? There's something wrong with the Channel 97 that is supposed to be displaying council meetings, board meetings, so forth. And it comes out of the Board of Ed. At this point, it's not showing at all. I do know there was once a committee of sorts years back because Kason and I both were on that committee. So you may want to check into that because it should be falling under your watch. Again, has there been any movement on roads on New York Avenue School and Kentucky Avenue? Councilman Marsh, I do know you spoke briefly on that. Could you explore that more a little bit? There are potholes in the parking lot of City Hall. Not sure if CRDA would be involved in that. That should be coming from the city, I would think. Parking meters. I spoke briefly about this when they were being placed throughout this city. You can't see, there's no lighting around some spots. You can't see the paper if it falls out. There's been a lot of complaints from senior citizens concerning those meters. And that should be looked at again and have more done with it, because they're not operating properly. I'm going to court myself, not just because I didn't pay the ticket, because no paper fell out. And I'm going to court. I'm gonna pay the ticket, but I want it on record, because this is out of hand. People are talking about it all over the city. Last but not least, do not forget the meaning of Christmas, and I would like to have my questions answered. Thank you.
Council President, I'll tackle the question about our public access television, and that has been something, I think it was like last year when people asked about it. The ownership and control and management of it, it's not clear, at least from an operational standpoint, between the city and the school board. But we do have a new MIS director, Mr. Quinlan, who's sitting in the front row, and he's part of our committee. And so both myself and I would ask you publicly, Director, if we could look into that and just try to get a feel of who the stakeholders are and get that working, because you bring up a great point, Ms. Molyneux. Everybody in the city should have that on the public access channel, and I'm a strong believer in spreading these meetings to as many people as possible. As a side note, for anybody who has internet access or can make it to the library if they don't, we do offer on-demand our meetings. So every council meeting for this entire year, you can go on and you can check it out on demand. If you go to the city website and you go to the drop-down, I believe it's government is what the top nav link is, and you go to the bottom, you have city council meeting stream. And it's a tremendous option that our citizens have, and anybody really, to watch the proceedings, which I believe are professional, as Council President mentioned earlier, filled with strong leadership. The quality of our technology, which came out of the committee for broadcasting these meetings, surpasses any governing body in our areas. What we use here is tremendous. You can see it yourself, the caliber and quality of the video, and we fixed the audio problems earlier this year. So while on one hand we offer a tremendous digital access for people who can get on the internet, I agree with you. It's a big problem if our standard, what do they call it, the cord cable is not showing it for people who don't have internet access. And I'd ask you, Director, if we could look at that, and our Ms. Molyneux, at the first meeting of the new year, we will be discussing that. I'll bring it back up in my report. Thank you.
And just to, just to follow up, a lot of people noticed that the meetings aren't shown on Channel 97. And I reached out to the clerk, and she said after every meeting, Pat gives her the tape, long-standing cameraman, and they deliver it to the Board of Education, but it's not being shown. So if Paula, the BA, can we please make sure that, meetings moving forward
I will follow up on that.
will be shown?
Councilman, I can answer your question, if you'd allow me to.
Go ahead.
There was a system that was in place, an automated system that we played
DVDs and videos for Channel 97 for a long time. When the state took my job, nobody knew how to operate any of that equipment. So all of that equipment was ripped out of the TV station. And a DVD player was put in that you have to go in and push a button to play a DVD now. I was recently rehired by the Board of Education to teach radio broadcasting, and one of the things I've been asked to do is to get the TV station back up and running. So I'm looking into doing that, and hopefully within the next month or so, we should have those meetings being played again back on Channel 97. I'm going to figure out a way to get it done. And I will report to whomever you need me to report to in the city, as to our progress of what we need. But that equipment supposedly was taken somewhere. I need to go and find out what's there, what can be put back in place. But as I tried to tell the state when they took my job away, nobody else knew how to do it.
Well, I mean, listen, we understand that, but there's still programming being shown on Channel 97, like the Board of Education meeting. So if that meeting,
I went in, put the DVD in,
no, but what I'm
and
saying,
pushed the button.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but we are delivering the DVDs. So why isn't city council meeting?
Well, one thing, they don't come to me. So they go to someone. They used to come directly to me.
All right, so on the record, if we bring them to you, we'll make me.
I'll see to it that they get on.
All right, so just talk.
I'm at Atlantic City High School. You can send them the same way you used to send them. The Derek K. sign at Atlantic City High School.
Mail them?
How did they get there now?
And walk across the street to the Board of Education.
They'll get them to me.
Okay.
All right? They'll get them to me, and I'll make sure that they are at least played until we can re-automate the system so that they can play on a regular basis. But that is in the works, and now that I'm back, we're going to make it happen. Listen to 88.9 FM radio, because we're going to try to stay abreast of all that's going on too, and I'm going to try to bring that up to keep the public involved. That's a high school radio station. All right? Thank you.
Council President, this is great that Mr. Kason is offering this information, that he knows it, so we're learning more, but I'm still, just to be clear with anybody who's watching, I'm going to make a formal request to the Board of Ed, to the Superintendent's office, because there should be a formalized protocol and a procedure for the public access television. It's great that you're back in the saddle, so to speak, but when it comes to public access and transparency, it's something that we owe to the public, and all of our public entities, on the school side, on the city side, should just have a very clear, standardized procedures. On the school board side, they really need to allocate some money for having decent equipment in order to show that programming and anything else that they do, especially with the increased funding that's going to be coming in 2019. So we're going to make a formal request, and hopefully somebody from the school board, I'm not putting on you, I'm going to the superintendent, they need to send somebody to our committee so that way there's a clear dialogue between these respective government entities.
Next meeting.
Latoya Dunstan.
Good evening. I'm here tonight on behalf of the exclusive drill team, just to give some few updates before we go out with the year. Just to let everyone know, we recently competed, we had competition, and again, we ranked first in the state for 2 of our groups, and third in the third group in a state competition. So now we'll be moving on February 23rd for the second round of competition, and this is actually the 10th year straight that we've been able to hold the title, and look forward to going on with it. Also, I just wanted to inform you guys that we had an increase, a high jump in numbers of registration with the teams, simply because now we're in Soldiers Home, we're more visible, people have easy access to be able to come to us. And just to inform, so the Pee Wee squad, which is 4 years old to 9 years old, all 16 members within elementary school are honor roll students. Then our junior, which is 12 to 14, out of 15 of those students, we have 12 that's honor roll, 2 are straight A, And then, most important, and I say most important because the high schoolers are the hardest ones to keep occupied, and we actually have 18 that's high school level, which is really good, and 3 of them are seniors in high school this year, and the 3 seniors actually have straight A's, and the others have honor roll, and we do hone in a lot on education, because they know that if they don't have the grades, if they're not satisfactory, then they can't move on to compete. Not that you're off the team, but we just gotta get you tutored and get you up on your academics. And again, the ones that's home from college that was a part of the team, they're also succeeding over in college. One graduated or in already, they came through exclusive, and we have one that's still over in Harvard. So I just want y'all to know that the at-risk youth that we do have out there have resources, and we are keeping them occupied. If you know of any of them, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, you can send them over to Soldiers Home, and we'll help them even if they don't want to do drill team. We also got the basketball team. We're doing football now, modeling. We have so many other programs just within the community, and also it's free of charge. So if you know of anybody that need help, even with tutoring or SAT prep, send them over to us, and then we'll get them plugged in. And even if you know any parents that need someone to talk to or just need to get out also, you can send them over to us. And again, we thank y'all for a wonderful year and look forward to 2019 continuing so we can be national champions again. Thank you.
Congratulations. You failed to mention the exclusive choir. As you saw tonight, this body is more than qualified to come over there and give some lessons. The City Council Mass Choir. The City Council Mass Choir. No songs.
I think Jeff was leaving.
He was over on the end singing alto. I heard. Next speaker.
Marvin Royal.
Good evening, council members. I'm here on behalf of CWA Local 1038, and I'm also in here as representative for the body, for the persons that stand behind me, and they're employees of the Lang City Housing Authority. We've been in negotiations with the Housing Authority for the last few months, and over that period of time, the offers we've gotten currently and presently, we've actually TKO'd all items right within the contract except for that of the money. The money offers have gone from ridiculous to dismissive to now just plain just unacceptable. And you know, it is ironic that we would be here today and that you members right this thing would be talking about doing equitable things right for the employees of the city of Atlantic City. Well, these folks that stand with me, they're also right employees of Atlantic City. They work in an entity called Atlantic City Housing Authority. Throughout all the wards in the city of Atlantic City, you're going to find, public housing. And these are the persons right in seeing that are on the forefront, that are essential to that work that goes on. The Atlantic City Housing Authority is making a major problem. They keep paying at the top when all the work is being done at the bottom. They've discounted the work right in seeing that these folks do. They've discounted it in the sense of depleting the workforce, not having, not rewarding the work that's being done. And now we're at contract time, and now they take this measure to just $350 was the first offer. I'm not talking about $300, I'm talking about $350 a year, right? For 3 years, which comes out to $1,050. Who can live on that? That's not even minimum, that's not even the cost of living, But this was what was offered. That's ridiculous. Persons stand with me, right, with all things that they have to deal with. They are the central persons right in saying that about rent collection, building upkeep, right? Dealing with the various problems that residents bring to them, whether or not it be personal, whether or not it be mental health, whether or not it be substance abuse, right? These are the persons that deal with these things. These are the persons, right, that also fix the problems, right? When there are the broken windows or the pipe leaks or the gas is not turned on or the switch, when you turn the switch on, the light doesn't come on. This is what these people do. They do it right and they do it unapologetically, right? These are some very courageous persons, right? And what we ask is support for a fair and just contract. That's why we're here. You guys have already talked about it, for the city, right? We're also asking for that same support, for the folks that stand with me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, that's about a 15 cents an hour raise.
Yes, yes, and that's exactly what they think of us,
That's
15 cents.
George, I don't know where you support me, but I like a resolution of support for equal compensation for the housing authority employees. And I would like council to do that. And I don't know how you put it together, but if anything, we can at least support a fair, pay for the employees of the housing authority. It's like we did on 688. Okay?
The only thing is, we can't interject the terms or the amount of money, but we're just asking, for fair support. I'm gonna ask our esteemed solicitor to draw up a resolution of support that we'll vote on before the end of the meeting. Okay. Yes.
15 cents.
Anyone else from the public? Would you like to speak?
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Ryan Hacker. I'm a veteran of the United States Army and also a food truck owner. And I was going through the application to fill out for a food truck for a veterans vending license for Atlantic City. I already have one for Atlantic County. And I noticed chapter 145-23 states that no vendor vending from a motor vehicle shall remain in any one place for a period longer than necessary to make this sale after having approached or stopped for that purpose. And with today's growing food truck trends, food trucks cannot operate like this. That's more of like an ice cream truck would operate. My truck alone has 2 fryers in it, and driving around with hot fryer oil, that's not gonna work. That's a fire hazard, a health hazard. So I'm asking council to maybe look and maybe revamp the ordinance to have there be a dedicated area, maybe over by the War Memorial, O'Donnell War Memorial Park, open up vending that way for the veterans, and maybe to look at some of the other restrictions that the city has on the vending for veterans. Also, we could also, some big cities use food trucks, they offer a parking permit. So you could, instead of, also with the veteran vending, you can open it up for other vendors, food truck vendors, public vending, and offer them a parking pass. And then that money can be used for the veterans, put into a fund to give to the veterans. That would be something going down the road, but just to get something started. There's also restrictions on the beach blocks. Just a couple ideas I've had. Since we're going into the new year, stuff we can get the ball rolling with campus stocking over there. Atlantic City is going to become a college town, and food trucks are a big draw for college kids. And last year we had 24 million tourists. I don't know what the numbers were this year, but I think food trucks would be a great draw. And there's no competition with the brick and mortars. All the
Yes, there is.
but what you're saying is there's no research to prove that.
Oh, yes, there is.
I've been doing this for a little while now, and that there's no, the fact that the food truck owners, all we own is the truck. We do not own the property in Atlantic City. That's what the brick and mortars own. We only own what's on the wheels. So that's, being a veteran, I feel that O'Donnell Memorial Park would be a great spot to start. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for your insight. I'm going to have Director Finch and the License and Inspection Committee to take it under advisement, and as we move forward for the January committee meeting in 2019, let that be an agenda item to see what we can do.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else from the public like to speak?
I think that was a discussion in the past anyway.
But this, did he speak?
Now, mine's gonna be real brief. Remember, I said I had 2 parts.
That's what Charlie is gonna ask for too.
That's right.
He's sitting there chopping at the bit, I know.
Well, the one was about his money, so it's not fair to him that he has to come speak about getting paid for what he works. So let him have his.
Thank you. As I said before, I had 2 parts. The second part that I'm talking about, and you brought it up briefly, is about the way that we're going about with this equipment. Now, mind you, Council President, when we talked about trash being privatized before, one thing that was what was happening to us is that we wasn't getting the equipment or the manpower that we needed to finish the job, but we still got the job done with what we had. But then when they came in and they privatized, and they said it was going to be a cost saving. Later on, during that time, I came back up to the council and I asked them, what was the cost that was being saved? And a person, Mr. Cunningham, got it from the state, and he told me that quite frankly, that's what he said, quite frankly, it wasn't a cost saving. Y'all didn't have the manpower or the equipment to do it. Now, once again, we're sitting here in the same situation. The snow is coming. That little bit of snow we got from last week is nothing. If we get another snowstorm like we got before and we have to have the state to come in, why do we have to do that when we have capable men? We have capable men that can do it. All we asking for is the equipment to take care of the job. It was embarrassing for the state to come in and they peeled off new equipment. They had dump trucks, they had skid loaders. They came in and they shuffled and they paraded in front of us with the new equipment. We still got out there and got the snow up, and then what they did, they put it back on their lifts and they rolled out the city. They didn't leave the equipment for us. So once again, we're back. Nothing has changed. We're back in the same situation with inadequate equipment and less manpower. So we run into another snowstorm, what are we gonna do? Call them back in to come and keep trying to help us out? Or is it going to be that somebody's going to jump up and say, you know what, y'all don't have the manpower or the equipment to do it, so let's privatize the snow now. You can't tell us that you're not going to do it, because every time we turn around, this is what you do to us. You turn around and tell us that we don't have the manpower or the equipment to do it. So now we had a whole year from that to get equipment. Where's the equipment at? All we asking for is the equipment. We'll do the job. We're out there. When it's freezing cold, rain, sleet, hurricane, we're out there doing it. All we asking for is the equipment to get the job done. We don't need anybody to come in and try to showboat in front of us in the news cameras and say, I came in here and did this. You didn't come in here and do anything, because we still was out there. We still was out there plowing the streets. Now the residents going to complain. They're going to call up to the 6th floor, and I'm going to get the phone calls, and the other superintendent's going to get the phone calls, and the director is going to be calling us and tell us to get out there and he want the streets done. And you know what's going to happen? The streets is going to get done, but it's the backlash that we get behind from the residents to say, you're going to have 1 or 2 residents say, my street was terrible. All we asking for is the equipment now before the snow comes.
Are we paying, it's my understanding, maybe Jason, you can help with this, or you could possibly while you're standing there, we're paying almost $8,000 an hour when we have to bring these subcontractors in.
I'm not aware of the price, Council.
For the equipment and the manpower. Can we check into that? I think we can invest in our own people.
$8,000 an hour, I would hope not.
With all the equipment, the trucks, the men.
So I get my seconds.
Oh,
Stop.
sit down. Give me that stress card that you got. As soon as I see Jolly, it goes up.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Seeing?
I know, I was up there before, I know. Hi. My name's Yvette Atkinson. I'm a homeowner on Riverside Drive in Venice Park. This is December. So, December of last year and the year before, I've been calling the city about 1458, which is directly next to me. That is vacant, that is dilapidated. I've called code enforcement, I've called construction, I've been there, I've called, I've been lied to that they've been there. I've had someone, 2 people a month ago who hang out behind there, break into my house next door, stole articles from my shed, okay? I've had the tree from that house fall onto my deck. My insurance company will not fully insure me because of the house next door to me. And I've spoken to everyone. What do I do? That's my question.
You can talk to the gentleman right there, that's Director Finch. He's in charge of license and inspection.
All right.
Anyone else from the public would like to speak? Seeing none, public portion is closed.
Council President, the gentleman that gave the thoughts about food truck, I just want to say, if you could either look on the city website, email me your contact info, or leave it up here. I want to make sure your point of view is presented in our committee hearing. I just thought of it now.
We are now ordinances on second and final reading. Our first ordinance is the reconsideration over the mayor's veto of ordinance number 3. That is an ordinance amending chapter 92. This is permitting the erection and use of fire-rated structures on the beaches.
May I have a motion? Move it. Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz. Anyone from the public like to speak? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Discussion.
Council President?
Sorry.
No, it was, Councilman Kurtz and I had a brief discussion about these fire pits and the things. I brought to his attention how I'm uneasy with the concept of recreation and fire. Only because it doesn't equate as a source of recreation to me. But we also spoke to the idea of having subsequent support systems put in place, hopefully, if we move on forward, that include the fire department, that include additional equipment that can make the fire department even more experts in helping and assist this situation. I also spoke to him with regards to some of the limitations that we need to ensure, because there's a lot of factors that we can't control. Wind on the beach at times can cause a 2-foot flame to turn into a 10-foot flame. And we just have to be certain that we are as adamant as we possibly can to maintain safety. I don't want to be a Sam Sourpuss and mess up someone's idea of hanging out on the beach in front of a fire, drinking and smoking, how some people enjoy to do. That's their choice. But I want to make sure that we are free from any kind of potential litigation or safety issues. It's scary. Fire can attack someone at a drop of a dime, and that's something that I don't want anyone to face, including personal property. I just wanted to make sure I spoke my 2 cents on this one as we move forward on it.
2 cents, Any further discussion on this veto ordinance? All right, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative. The ordinance does pass, does not go back to the mayor. It will be advertised as approved. Ordinance number 31 is an ordinance designating additional handicap parking spaces.
May I have a motion? Move it. Moved by Randolph, second by Tibbet. Anyone from the public like to speak? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Yeah, can somebody shut that door, please?
Are we putting any, more handicap parking spots in this, city hall? Because I know a lot of residents come in and they only have, I think they only have, maybe have 2. So is that gonna be added in?
Not on this particular one.
She has about handicap parking spots in City Hall.
You know, it's a good point. I think, and I apologize, I didn't hear all of your question, but what I could do is either run back the tape or just get.
No, she said put it in different spots.
We'll have to investigate how many spots we have and how many more we need.
More spots at City Hall.
And City Hall parking.
I mean, I definitely support
But
the
it's not
concept.
part of this, particular ordinance.
I mean, whatever we can do to help out people with disabilities, I'm all for it. I mean, we put in requests for doing Braille signs on the doors at City Hall. I don't think they have funding yet for it, but I mean, anything that we can do to enhance access to people with disabilities, you know, I'm all for that.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Discussion? Seeing none, call the vote.
Slow down. You gonna handle it?
I'm not sure pardon me, just to bring in the process, I'm not sure what the process, I did put in a request to remove 1 of the 2 spots. There needs to be further work on it. And I looked at what was in the packet, it looked like both spots were on there. So I'm not sure if that's something we pass it and don't act on it, or if it needs to be formally removed. And I CC'd my colleague on that one, put that in.
So we can pull the 1 off? There's 2 here, just pull
Whatever
1
y'all
off.
work out, I'm fine with it.
Once it passes, it's law.
This is one that you've already voted on this now. Is it?
Yeah, it was supposed to have been taken out at the last council meeting, 1 of them.
That's not substantial until we have the first
Well,
one.
it's not substantial first. Give me just a moment.
All right, let's get that one, come back in 3 minutes. Figure it out.
All right, well, we'll move forward. We'll.
Come back to
It's already
31.
voted on, so we'll come back. Yes?
No.
Well, I was going to have them do
We're
it.
in
Oh, I
discussion.
apologize. No,
Yes.
that's not substantial.
Okay, so you can make the amendment ahead now.
So you voted?
We're gonna,
With the
we're
Lansing-
just gonna keep the 1 South Bartram Avenue, 1 on there.
So what you'll be
The other
voting
one
on
will
is
be
the
moved.
amended version with the removal of the Delancey flashlight.
Yeah, it's only gonna show 1, we're only gonna do 1, not 2.
As amended?
Absolutely.
Call the vote.
Okay. Chang,
Yes.
Delgado,
Yes.
Fauntleroy,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Marsh,
Yes.
Randolph,
As amended, yes.
Shabazz,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes, as amended.
and Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative. It passes as amended with the removal of 122 South Delancey Place.
We go out and we investigate.
We have ordinance 32, and this is an ordinance amending chapter 92 of the code as it pertains to horses.
Move it. Have a motion?
Second.
Moved by Shabazz, second by Randolph. Speedy Gonzalez? Anyone from the public like to speak?
Who's gonna be cleaning up behind the horses? Is that a city hall problem, or is it the owner's problem, or how's that gonna be done?
The owners are responsible for the upkeep of everything that the horses do. Not the city, the owners. Are you satisfied with that answer?
Any further discussion? Call the vote.
Chang,
Yes.
Delgado,
Yes.
Fauntleroy,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Marsh,
Yes.
Randolph,
Yes.
Shabazz,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
and Small.
Yes.
That's That's 9 in the affirmative. We have ordinance number 33, and this is an ordinance for an additional name and designation to the 700 block of Lexington Avenue to be known as Reverend Dr. John W. Howard Senior Way.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Second. Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz. Anyone from the public like to discuss? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative. We have ordinance number 35, and this is an ordinance regulating the location of housing for persons with disabilities.
May I have a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Randolph, second by Marsh. Anyone from the public like to discuss? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Any discussion? Seeing none, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative. We have ordinance 36, and this is a Citizens Advisory Board ordinance.
May I have a motion? Moved by Marsh,
Second.
second by Randolph. Any discussion from the public? Seeing none, public portion is closed. Discussion. Seeing none, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
That's 9 in the affirmative.
And just a housekeeping item, 3 names will be submitted in the new business resolution coming up shortly. May I have a motion to group regular resolutions and new business, but can we read the new business resolutions into the record before we?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
And first reading ordinances.
Yes, that's what I said. I said ordinance is on first reading, regular resolution, and new business, but we have some that's not on the record, so I want them read into the record before we move forward, so that way when we call on people for their vote, they're voting on the complete package and not the mystery.
Move it.
You second?
We're gonna-
No, we didn't vote anything, he's gonna read it.
Oh, he's gonna read it.
He's gonna read it into the record. Why don't you tell him?
I've been up here long.
He's a first time offender. You're a habitual offender. You're not even eligible for probation.
One more resolution.
Seriously? Jesse.
This with regard to the first resolution. With regard to the first resolution, and whereas a police community advisory board has been established by ordinance, the city council therefore nominates 3 individuals for the board. Those persons are Delmar Hamilton, Frank Urbig, and Farouk Hussein. If you need the spelling of any of those, I can provide that.
What number is that for the record?
That will be resolution 707. And 708 will be the resolution of support for fair compensation to the Atlantic City Housing Authority
Yes.
employees.
And I'll read that. This one also. Whereas the employees of the Atlantic City Housing Authority work diligently to ensure that the residents of public housing live in a safe and healthy environment, and whereas those employees are often working under conditions where there are limited financial resources, yet they continue to provide quality service on a daily basis, and whereas those employees are currently involved in negotiations regarding salaries, wages, and benefits, and whereas ACHA employees deserve our support and deserve a fair wage for fair work, now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Atlantic City urges the parties to negotiate in good faith and to come to an agreement that adequately reflects the contributions that the ACHE employees make.
All right, so everything is into the record. All right, we're gonna start with Councilman Fauntleroy.
No, we're good.
Good job. Tibbet.
Hesitantly, I'm gonna say good.
Chen?
I'm good.
Randolph?
I'm good except for 639, I abstain. Due to a conflict.
Marsh? Kurt?
I have to abstain on, I don't know what the number is, but the Housing Authority resolution. I guess for public record, I serve on the board there, and even though I'm not on that committee doing the negotiation, I should probably abstain on that one.
708 new business abstention.
On the Housing Authority.
Housing Authority,
I mean, I certainly support the employees, but I can't, I have to abstain on that resolution. And what was the other one? I'm going to support 13B like Boyd, but I would like to be removed as a co-sponsor.
That's the first.
From the committee, I'll remove.
See, we named the law firm of Tippett and Kirk, and now you back in the week.
It was a good moment there.
Well,
Short-lived.
I have to abstain for vice counsel for the two PAL CBG issues. Please have that lead. It was,
So 660 is one.
Okay, so 660 you'll abstain.
And 676.
all right, thanks.
676, okay.
Barbara, how you finish, because I got.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I have to abstain on what is that number, 686? Due to a conflict.
Yes. 6
Thank you.
and MUA, yes.
Thank you.
Yes, Kurt?
Yes, sir.
Shabazz?
Mr. President, I have to abstain on 643, because that's the NACP Youth Council. And I'd like to be a co on Resolution 700, 704, 703, and 688.
Delgado?
I have only one amendment or submission on 649, a regular resolution. I don't know if you did, but I want to make sure my vote is counted as a present, not in positive or negative, but as a present. 649. 649. The rest of the body, I'm going to confirm.
Say it again?
I said the rest of it, I'm confirming.
And I'm good.
Councilman Shabazz, there was a Stockton resolution also.
You missed that? You missed that?
Just want to make sure.
You talking about the grant? 705? 705 is the call?
Yes, 705.
Yeah.
Abstain.
I missed that.
Is that correct, abstain on 705?
Yes.
Council President, I missed that one as well. I'd like to co-sponsor 705.
Okay. And Council President?
Call the vote, please.
Okay, so we will be voting on first reading ordinance 13A, and this is a revocable license agreement with Ocean for directional signage. 13B, Councilman Kurtz is removed as a sponsor, and this is agreement for an easement license for Nautilus Offshore Wind. Resolution 574, 575, 642, 643, 644, 645, 646, 647, 648, 649, 650, 651, 652, 657, 658, 660, 664, 672, 676, 683, 638, 654, 659, 668, 679, 684, 691, 692 as amended, 695, 697, 635, 636, 637, 639, 686, 640, 641, 656, 661, 662, 663, 666, 693, 655, 671, 673, 674, 675, 678, 685, 687, 696, 698, new business, is a resolution approving emergency appropriations for Gardner's Basin and the aquarium. 699, a resolution revising the meeting times and dates for the city council for 2018, and it's agreed that the meeting will change from January 9th to January 2nd, Wednesday, at 5 p.m.
Yes, but isn't the calendar normally filled in reorganization?
This is the meeting for the first meeting in January, which is part of the 2018 schedule. So our first meeting in January is actually considered in the 2018 schedule, but must be held within the first 7 days of January. So the second has agreed at 5 p.m. 700 is to award contract with Brinks Tank Services for demolition. 701 is agreement with Jenkins Plumbing and Heating for boiler repairs at fire station number 6. 702, Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse. 703 is an award of contract to Shore Aquarium Services for the aquarium. 704 is authorization to accept a grant award for the National Crime Statistics Exchange Program. 705 is to enter into a memorandum of agreement with Stockton University to administer the Innovation Planning Challenge Grant. 706 is to forgive penalties and interest. 707 is the nominations to Citizens Advisory Board. 3 names were submitted. 708 is a resolution of support for fair compensation to the Atlantic City Housing Authority employees. Chang?
Yes.
Oh, first with the exceptions, I'm sorry. A present vote for Councilman Delgado on 649. Councilman Kurtz to be removed as a sponsor on 13B. Co-sponsoring Resolution 705, abstaining on Resolution 708. Marsh abstaining on 660, 676. Randolph abstaining on 639 and 686. Shabazz co-sponsoring 700, 703, 704, and 688. Abstaining on 643 and 705. Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes.
So that's 9 in the affirmative with the exceptions noted. All agree? Okay. We are now at executive session. We have one item, Resolution 699, McFadden-Dawkins, Sylvia versus City of Atlantic City Workers' Comp. Do we have a motion?
Yes, we have a motion.
Move it.
Second. Moved by Tibbet, second by Shabazz.
Chang? Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
No.
7 in the affirmative, 1 in the negative. About how long, please? 5 minutes. We have one resolution for after executive session. This is resolution authorizing settlement for McFadden-Dawkins Sylvia Workers' Comp.
May I have a motion? Move it. Moved by Randolph, second by Shabazz. Discussion, call the vote.
Chang?
Yes.
Delgado?
Yes.
Fauntleroy?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Present.
Marsh?
Yes.
Randolph?
Yes.
Shabazz?
Yes.
Tibbet?
Yes.
And Small.
Yes, and before we adjourn, on behalf of the entire city council of the city of Atlantic City, we'd like to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Motion to adjourn.
That states in the affirmative, 1 present, meeting is